Shall we play a game?
Sure, but instead, let's read our Nuclear Revenge.
Wouldn't you prefer a good game of chess?
No, how about instead we read our Nuclear Revenge?
Fine.
All right.
I got back at my bully in a big way. Hello, I posted this on Pro Revenge first, but it was removed because they didn't think it was feasible. I'm on a phone, and I speak and write English fluently, but it's not my first language. I have posted some entitled parent stories, and in one of them I shared that an entitled mother spread some nasty rumors about me being a violent sociopath that actually managed to stick due to a prior incident. This is said prior incident. This happened 12 years ago, and some of the details been lost throughout the ages. And some of the stuff might be exaggerated and or embellished, as stories might get as they get told and retold for years. Now with the unnecessary explanations out of the way, on to the story. Strap in, I tend to digress, so this is likely going to be a long one. I was 12 years old, and I wasn't all that tall. I was wide and overweight. I had also one hell of a temper that I learned to control in a way so that, for the most part, I didn't react violently. But I reacted to most things regardless. It meant bullies loved picking on me. At this point, I had been bullied for years. It started out with classmates during the lower years until my mom got involved, and all the parents were made aware of it, and my bullies stopped. Then my first year in middle grades, 4th to 6th, a guy 2 grades up saw me and immediately realized I was a prime candidate for him getting to feel better about himself. He was as short as me and a complete geek. This guy started out using an old-timey insult for fat people. I had no clue he was trying to bully me. We had similar interests, so I actually thought he was going to befriend me. This pissed him off a lot, and he went out of his way to make it clear that he was bullying me. Took me a fair bit of time to actually catch on. Over the years, he escalated. He grew in size, he got a following of friends, and they would use almost every recess every single day to follow me and bully me. I had gone to the teachers multiple times. My mom and dad had contacted the principal multiple times. It didn't work. My bullies usually retaliated with getting extra intense and physical too, for a while every time. So I stopped doing it. Snitches get stitches, am I right? Now, my dad was very tired of this happening again and again, so he took me aside and gave me a lesson about defending myself that I shared in my second entitled parent story. He basically gave me a rundown on self-defense, told me explicitly never to start a fight, but it was alright to fight back in the end. That violence should always be my last choice, you know. I took this to heart. This had been going on for 2 years now. My mom had contacted the principal again, they were getting physical again, they had cornered me and I tried to get away. They wouldn't let me. I was sick and tired of this, so I looked at him and I said he better stop now or he would regret it. The bully and his posse of course laugh, and they don't believe a little fatty can do much. At this point I am seething. I try to get out again. They push me back, and that's when I explode. I jump on the main bully, and he's bigger than me, but he's still a skinny geek. I get him on the floor and start wailing on his face. Then he tries to fight back and push me off. I bite his hand so I hear crunching. Meanwhile, his friends are frozen, just staring at me. I also jumped on his chest. In the end, it took 3 teachers to pull me off. This kid had a broken nose, at least 2 broken ribs, a huge gash on his hands from my bite, which honestly could have killed him, you know, germs and all. I was suspended, for a week, but escaped expulsion because these fuckers had tormented me for years and the school had failed to stop them. According to what my dad told me, he had used that defense against the school and promised that if they expelled me, he would expose their failure to stop bullying for years to the media and all the parents. So yeah, that's the story.
Alright, so this first one speaks to me a little because I was always a big kid. I was picked on a lot as a kid, but I was also trained to not respond so violently and not always act on my emotions. Well, the good part is I didn't do that too often until I was in high school, and my high school was pretty aggressive with trying to make sure you knew where you were on the social hierarchy. So I had to defend myself once or twice in there, but I commend the father for not telling him, just go kick his ass. No, he told him, just use this as a last-ditch effort, and don't make violence your first thing. And he didn't, but he was pushed into a corner, And unfortunately, it ended up with where it was. But good on the father for calling it out and saying, hey, listen, you can't expel him because it's your fault for not addressing the bullying to begin with. So good on him on that one.
Nuclear feline revenge. Crazy entitled neighbor tries to bleach my sister's cat. Cat gets revenge. I count this as a nuclear revenge story, but not in the traditional sense. This happened many years ago. My older sister had this awful, bitchy neighbor who had a serious hard-on for Sissy Seal's Point Siamese cat. I'll call the neighbor CN for crazy neighbor. Sister is Sis, me is self-explanatory. CN was a black-haired, plump 40-something divorced who annoyed everyone in the neighborhood. She had zero understanding of boundaries and liked to come over to people's homes, barge in and look or snoop around, opening drawers and cabinets and touching their stuff. Once she even went into someone's fridge and grabbed herself a ginger ale, then got mad when the homeowner took it back. If you left your back door unlocked for more than 10 minutes, chances were she'd just come right in. She stole yard decoration from other people's yards and had been caught on more than one occasion pocketing something she'd snagged off a mantle or table of a house she'd invaded. And she would always throw a tantrum when she got busted. Cops had been called on her many times, but she was good at being pathetic, so most people didn't press charges. Unfortunately, this made her bolder. Basically, she was the entitled bitch of the neighborhood. Sis was unfortunately one of her favorite victims. She'd come over without calling, barge her way in, and ask to see my sister's cat, telling Sis how beautiful he was and how much she wanted a cat just like him. Sis, being rather non-confrontational, would let her see the cat, who didn't like the woman, then make her leave. Sia never wanted to leave and had to be basically pushed out of the door. Oh, and she despised me because I wouldn't let her in when I answered the door, nor would I tolerate her BS in any way, if she got past my sister. Cien was so obsessed with the cat and offered to buy him many times. But Sis loved the cat. He had been the run of the litter, rejected by his mom. My sister had taken him and bottle-fed him, mothered him, and saved his life. He wasn't a pet, he was her child, so Sis of course always said no. This royally pissed off Cien. One day the cat got out. He wasn't an outdoor cat, so Sis and I immediately started looking for him. We were checking the bushes and behind the flower pots in our backyard when we heard a very distinctive yowl, one of pure rage, followed by a very human shriek of pain coming from Cien's house. Suddenly, the doggy door on Cien's back door slams up and runs out my sister's cat, his tail and one rear paw covered in what smelt like hair bleach. I'm allergic to bleach and immediately recognized the smell as he passed me, dashing past us and into Sis's house. Next thing you know, Cien's back door slams open and out she comes, cursing up a blue streak. Ragged claw marks adorned her left cheek, and one of her hands had a deep bite wound that had completely saturated one of the gloves, the kind one gets with any hair coloring kit. Turned out, when the cat had gotten out, Cien had grabbed him, took him inside, then tried to use hair bleach to bleach the brown out of his tail and paws in order to change his appearance so that she could keep him. Unfortunately for her, she didn't know shit about Siamese cats and just how violent they can be. They were originally temple guardians for a reason. The moment Cien put the bleach on that cat's tail, he went absolutely berserk, letting out a yowl of rage we'd heard clawing up Cien's face and sinking his fangs into her hand. She pushed herself between the bushes Sis used to separate the property line and began yelling. No, not yelling, shrieking. She shrieked that Sis's cat had wandered into her kitchen while she was cooking, and when she tried to pick him up, he attacked her for no reason. Clearly, this was total BS. Cien then proceeded to call Sis the N-word several times. She's half black, and me an effing half-breed wetback slut. I'm half Hispanic. We have different dads. She screamed that my sis was stupid for keeping such a dangerous animal and that my sis would be paying her medical bill. She then got right in my sister's face, pushed my sister hard in the chest, saying that she was calling animal control and intended we have the thing put down. Cien opened her mouth to say or shriek some more, but Sis, after hearing that last statement and without one word warning, hauled off and decked her. She landed on her butt in the grass, now clenching her left eye. Sis loudly suggested that Cien go screw herself with a hot curling iron, then ran inside to find her poor cat while I called the cops. The whole thing from start to end lasted only about 5 minutes. Sis found him hiding in the laundry room, and quickly cleaned him off in the sink. Meanwhile, CN is still on her ass out in the backyard, howling like a banshee until the cops arrived. I told them what happened, and they later talked to my sister after she tended to her cat, who gave them the same story I did, even admitting to hitting CN, in self-defense of course. It didn't hurt her case that CN had left a bloody handprint on my sister's shirt when she shoved her. CN of course told them something entirely different. Her story was that she was about to bleach her hair when sister's cat came in and attacked her. She also said that sis and I attacked her too. I apparently kicked her in the stomach after sis punched her, but the cops found no evidence of bruising, and scratches on her face kind of masked her swelling eye. I also think cops turned a blind eye, pun intended, to it, considering the circumstances, but since there was a clear blood trail leading into CS's open back door, cops felt they had probable cause to go in. I think if CN had been paying more attention, she'd have refused them entry. The blood trail led to the sink in the first floor. Blood, cat fur, a bleach applicator, and the box it came in were in the sink and on the floor. The cat's collar was on the garbage. CN kept trying to play the victim, but the cops didn't buy it. She got arrested and my sister pressed charges for the theft and assault. CN also got nabbed for possession of stolen goods. Cops found a bunch of DVD players and CD players still in their boxes, sitting in their coffee table and in a spare room. Turned out, she'd also been stealing neighbors' painkillers when she visited them. And since she was a renter, the property owner gave her the boot for a breach of contract. She went to jail and had to pay for the cat's vet bill. He was okay, but a bit traumatized and had a yellow patch on his butt, paw, and tail for several months. CN's hand got infected from the cat bite, and it also turned out it caused tendon and nerve damage as well. Moral of the story? Stay out of people's houses, and have the common sense not to mess with the cat named Lucifer.
Alright, this next one, I own a cat, so I'm already biased as it begins with. But you steal a cat, you're stealing a member of a family. That goes with dogs, hamsters, guinea pigs, whatever you got, waddling or crawling around your house. It's still a member of the family. You love them. And to see a loved one get hurt or even kidnapped, that's just, there's a line that needs to be drawn. And I'm glad this woman got her comeuppance at the end of it. And honestly, she needs to be in jail. Something needs to happen where she needs to learn her lesson. So I'm glad that that was actually there. I mean, you don't steal someone's pet. Fuck you if you do. Seriously. So that's all it is for today. I thank you guys very much for watching. I've done the adjustments that a lot of you have been critiquing me in the comments below. I've made the text bigger. I stopped the scrolling word font. I've increased the volume on my recordings because apparently some of you have a hard time hearing me. Some of you don't. Some of you say I'm too loud. Some of you say I'm too quiet. So I'm still trying to find a little median place for y'all. That way everyone's happy. I just want everybody happy. But as regards to these two stories, I want to know what your comments about them are. Tell me in the comment section below. Also, check out the Discord server that I have. It's also in the description below. So check that out, as well as my Twitch channel. You guys have been great. You guys have been awesome. And as usual, as always, my friends, stay frosty and keep moving forward. Also, bonus points for whoever guessed what movie I parodied at the beginning of this.